pass there from this point.
I think the goal from my end was giving the kids a chance to experience physics outside of its typical lessons, giving the opportunity a break from what they would normally do in the classroom and experience something more on the fun end and where they can collaborate and work together.
We took a group of students in math, physics, and social studies and wanted to venture in a project where they got the interactive nature of social studies as being countries or teams with a variety of roles, and they undertook a task of building effective rockets and publicizing on those rockets in the form of propaganda aligning with nationalism.
And so we started out on the social end by creating propaganda and press releases. Then we moved on to the math aspect and physics aspect, where we created bottle rockets using water and a bike pump to create pressure to thrust them. And that worked successfully. And then we moved on to chemical rockets, which we use chemistry to create the correct mixtures.
This is a chance to really engage students across a wider spectrum of multiple intelligences, and to really get them out of their seats, get them out of their traditional static routines, have the students be more active learners.
It was so great to see the kids engage beyond the level of engagement that I normally see in their individual classrooms especially. And I think they thought it was neat to see their teachers working together as well. I think it was unique in that regard, and they took a lot of pride in it.
This time you got to go hands-on, and you got to play with it and mess with the calculations, and you got to actually physically do something, which was really interesting because we're taught to just listen and learn, but we actually got to do and learn, and that was amazing.
There's a great quote from Eisenhower where he says, "I've found planning to be invaluable, but I've found plans to be useless." And so I was hoping that would be the case here, that the students would really take the project in directions that we were not expecting or that we hadn't fully prepared for, because I think that would make for a more authentic and organic learning experience, because now it's not just us as teachers establishing the parameters, but now it would be the students themselves who are directing their learning in the true sense of directing, determining the direction it would be going.
It really showed that interconnectedness and the real world applicability of this is often how we interact with each other. That we learn these things, we have scientists, we have experts, but with the goal of the community mindset, and that's really where the project's situated. And I'm not sure whether everything we planned took place as we intended it. We ran into some technical difficulties, but I think the student learning was a success.
It just shows you how different something can be, and when you get outside the box you can just learn so much more sometimes. And like actually physically seeing something that you made and seeing it actually fly is incredible.
I saw a lot of kids excited, especially when they had I think they had some press availability where they had to answer questions from their peers, and they took ownership of it because it was their country that they were representing, and it was more visible than the learning would have been if they would have been in just their 3 separate classes.
It was good in the sense that it was something different from what they normally experienced. Putting it together with the other classes allowed us the flexibility to really dive into the project.
And so probably one of the biggest things I'll take away from it is a greater willingness to think outside the box, to differ from the norm, and to take on something that is more interdisciplinary and that really takes students as well as us out of our traditional comfort zones.
Anytime teachers decide to go outside their comfort zone is the potential for them getting excited about their own learning as educators and then being able to pass that down to their students.